I'm Susanna Hayek, the content manager for Transglobal Events, the company organizing Hydrogen Technology Expo North America, which is taking place in Houston, Texas on 28th and 29th June 2023. And joining me today are Björn, Lüssow and Oji, who are the co-founders and managing directors of Hyfinder, which is this groundbreaking hydrogen marketplace connecting developers with component suppliers. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you. Hello. Good to be here.
Hi, Susanna. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Björn, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an ex-Mercedes professional, been in the hydrogen economy since 2013, and had the task to negotiate a joint venture called H2 Mobility in Germany, which targets to establish the hydrogen refueling infrastructure in Germany. Yeah, and by that time I had the idea, well, this is our future, we can get out of oil. And I got inspired and never lost the link to the hydrogen economy, and then later started my own business together with Stephen.
Very interesting. And Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how
Sure.
and how you became interested in hydrogen?
Yes, very much so. So my story is a little bit different. I'm on the technical side. I'm an engineer by training, and as a young kid, I lived many years in Africa. I've actually also worked internationally, but spent most of my youth near the equator. And there we had the problem that often electricity went away. And then once we moved from one place to a little bit wealthier neighborhood, the wealthier neighborhood actually, as a kid, was characterized by noisier generators when the power went off and bad air when the power went off. So if you didn't have one yourself, you were, in a much worse situation. And I started then to think, my goodness, this energy everybody wants, isn't there a better way to get this? So fast forward many years on, and now I'm an engineer working for Mercedes-Benz, building amazing products. And then there's the hydrogen technology, which also is in that company. And that's also how I met Björn. And I just thought, like, my goodness, this is exactly what we need. This is why haven't we been doing this all the time? And that was a couple of years back. Since then, I've built several prototypes in that area. I've built business models as well. But there was one problem which we always had. And then we decided we're going to build a company to solve exactly that problem. I'm sure we're going to talk more about this in this interview.
Yeah, so tell us how Hyfinder came about and how did you guys start Hyfinder? How did it happen?
Well, okay, I can continue there and just say that, you see, every time anyone gets funds for a product or decides to embark on one, which is happening quite often these days in the hydrogen industry, they literally come out of the boardroom and have promised to make this happen in 9 months. But then everyone's already racking their brains. Oh my goodness, where are we going to get all the hardware, all the services, all the things that we need from? And in as much as there are places that you can sometimes meet, like on fairs and so on, but these are not always timed in the same way as the projects are. So I personally had a small WhatsApp group where I would ask friends, and you would look around. It was a big process which took many weeks. And with Hyfinder, we aim to address exactly that problem, essentially, that where we focus on products and show their technical characteristics, show how they can be used, and allow these people who are actually looking for products and services and components to find these things easily. At the same time, those who are offering those, and I've had many conversations with people who are offering ingenious products, can easier find people who need them, because we had the situation ourselves that we traveled around the world looking for one component, which in the end we found more or less down the street from our office, but it was a small company, didn't have a big marketing budget, didn't do much, to promote it. And yeah, we were just lucky that we found them. And with Hyfinder, we want to make that much easier for both sides of that.
Wow, it sounds like a fascinating platform. Björn, would you say Hyfinder is the Amazon of the hydrogen world?
Well, I would say not yet, but we have a good chance to become that. But we are just like I find it very impressive that Jeff Bezos started as a one-man show. I think it was some 20 years ago, with the target to build this great company. I think we are more focused on serving the customers and helping the hydrogen economy grow better and faster with state-of-the-art digital tools. Because in our view, I think there is no reason why the hydrogen economy should be built with the tools of yesterday. And if we are the company delivering the digital tools to help it grow better and faster, so it be, and we are very happy that we are delivering on that already.
And do you think there's enough demand? I mean, you provide the, I guess it's the both sides, your platform, demand and supply. Do you think we're there yet for demand to meet supply or supply to meet demand? Or do you think Hyfinder is bridging that gap?
Well, I can address that. So I think one thing is very clear to me. So the oil industry and the gas industry also was not built from Monday until Tuesday. It took decades to build these industries. And if we now want to create a hydrogen economy, it's a fair expectation to say it will take as long as it. Nevertheless, I think it's growing every year, and it's growing faster and faster because more and more strategic investments are taken with the target to really scale up serious production. And that's the difference now. And we see this also, and we are talking to our vendors, and they confirm that they also get leads not only for 1 or 2 units, but even in the 1,000 and 5,000 unit quote requests. So I think it will come, and those who question that will be very silent in 10 years.
Okay, it's interesting that you brought up the demand for thousands of purchases. Would you say Hyfinder facilitates individual purchases, or does it also facilitate offtakes?
Well,
so, yeah, please, Björn, please go ahead.
So I would say it's a mixture, right? For the time being, we are concentrating on providing high quality leads for the vendors, and we have more than 100 already registered, so we are growing fast. And I think it's fair to say that at the time you see, let's say, leads for smaller units, but you have to start small in order to serve the bigger volumes. So on the offtake side, we are not yet focusing on bringing partners together because we want to deliver on the hardware side really the right tool that the industry needs, and that's what we are focusing on.
Very exciting. So Stephen, my next question is for you. So we've got trade shows. We run trade shows. Why do we need Hyfinder?
Yes, so actually the two complement each other very well. And that's actually also why we have partnered with you, why we were in Bremen, why we want to be in Houston. So we believe that obviously there's this demand all the time during the year. And through Hyfinder, people can find companies can talk about products already. And in the end, these are complex products, and they will need conversations, and there's also inspiration to be got. And that's why trade shows are important. So they will actually improve the conversations going on trade shows. And trade shows have a very important role, as to building a vision, as to, allowing, obviously, this transfer of general knowledge and also bringing people together, because that's where people interact. At the same time, Hyfinder will help people to know about what's already there, like that. What can you build into your product at this time, and what companies are there to talk to, and that means that people coming to shows will know much more clear, what they will be looking for. At the same time, we will help the show grow, and again boost the quality of conversations going on there. And we hope that in this way, the market, the hydrogen economy, the buyers and the sellers will all benefit. So making it all easier, it's like helping to turn on more light in the room so that everyone can get to their targets faster. So I think it's a very complementary thing.
Absolutely. And we need a lot more stimulation, in whichever channels we can get them. So can you tell us about your experience in Bremen? So we had Hydrogen Technology Expo Europe in Bremen last month. How was your experience there?
So if you remember me, I can start. Well, obviously it was fantastic. We only had one downside. And that was that we were so busy talking with people. There was so much demand that we didn't get to take a proper team photo on our stand. So that's about the only, let me say, negative that we had. No, otherwise, other than that, it was fantastic. The audience was also very international, also very relevant people that we were able to contact there. And people also very interested, asking on the spot questions, and the size made it easy to walk around, to make an interaction quickly. The stand was also nice. I was also privileged to be part of the conference section, where I chaired a section in the afternoon, where we had super interesting and insightful conversations of topics that will certainly form the industry even tomorrow. And yeah, it was almost a little bit hard to man everything at the same time, but yeah, we came back from the fair fully fulfilled, and can really recommend that experience.
And obviously, we loved having you in Bremen, and we're looking forward to having you in Houston. Björn, can you tell us why Houston?
Well, I basically for two reasons. First, we take big pride in knowing our customers, so therefore we have to visit them. So we have also a huge base in the US, and it will be a great pleasure to connect to our customers in the US personally. That is one reason. And the second reason is basically, when researching your trade show a bit, I found that Houston has the ambition to become really a hydrogen hub for the United States, and that got me excited that your trade show is exactly probably for that reason placed there. And simply, we want to discover the place and get to know a lot of people who are inspired just like we are to help the global economy grow.
Brilliant. And Houston, we certainly haven't got a problem, because Hyfinder are going to be providing lots of solutions.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So let's talk about transparency, the transparency that the Hyfinder platform provides. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Björn, please?
Yeah, I would say Stephen is good to answer that.
Yeah, well, okay. So transparency in the sense that there's lots of people coming into the industry because there's new people trying to move away from one type of energy source to another. So people are busy putting things together, and they're asking, okay, who's there in the room? At the same time, they're the incumbents that need to say, hey, okay, I've got a nice pump to offer. And also there's companies who are seeking to expand their portfolio. So simple example of, let me say, someone who is a printing press, and then realizing suddenly, oh, I can also maybe give an input to the MEAs, which are part of the fuel cells or electrolyzers. So these are companies that are moving into this, whose brands are not known for something related to hydrogen or fuel cells. And that's where we are on a mission to bring transparency. So we want to make it easy for engineers to know who's doing what, and then where I can get what product, so that I can quickly move on to creating those magical solutions, which is exactly what the planet needs to get out of the carbon problem that we have. So transparency in the sense, Hyfinder allows you to look for, take the example of an air compressor, fuel cell air compressor, which have certain requirements. You don't need to be oil free and all kinds of extra things. You simply go on the site, and then you can just by one click already find them. And then you can compare them by attributes, how much power that they use, and the pressure ratios and so on. And normally this will take you quite a long time. So we want to reduce a good search from 6 weeks to 6 minutes or less, actually, probably even much less. And then you can also know who's offering those things, and then you can get into contact with them directly and not anyone. So it's actually the contact of the person who is in charge of that product, who can really answer technical questions around it. So that means that within a day, you've got so much information which you didn't have before, and which normally would have taken you much, much longer time to put together. So that's the transparency that we're looking to get. And yeah, I know it's a big goal, but essentially this is what we believe is what will bring the industry forward faster to bring the solutions that we need. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's global. So you can find components, developers anywhere around the world.
There we go. So someone from Australia can do just like someone sitting in London, or someone sitting in Houston, or someone sitting in South America, wherever. And Susanna, I must tell you, it is amazing who's doing what. And you wouldn't know this when you're sitting in one little town. We see people from, let me say, up and striving communities, governments, putting out big projects. And these guys maybe don't have the time or don't even know where to go at first. And they come on Hyfinder and they send really significant requests out to vendors. And then, they can start their conversations from there and also move on much more quickly in their project. So it's really a transparency which, it's like popping your head out of the roof, to see around and say, okay, that one's there. And then I can get this done that way.
That's brilliant. And Björn, can you tell us what features you're going to be adding, or the latest innovations you're going to be adding?
Yes, sure. So far, I think one of our offering is the B2B marketplace. And we also, and you should not forget that, and the readers of your community, we also have a big knowledge hub to educate the industry. But the latest big innovation that we put out there, and it's not to make money, is the Hyfinder tech community, because we think that there are many, many marketing channels and news feeds out there, but there is nobody offering a platform to allow for technical discussions. And each and every industry, so for example, the software industry, has a big community called Stack Overflow with 23 million questions and millions of users every month. And they collaborate in an efficient way on software problems. And there is no reason why we could not help us globally through such a platform in the hydrogen economy as well. So this is why we have worked heavily the last months to put the Hyfinder tech community out there. We already have 200 professionals collaborating, solving technical problems. And I would love to see if this format helps to get a lot of people joining the community, because we in particular want to help young professionals onboard the industry easily. And we have set a clear rule: no marketing, no spamming, just tech. And that should be inspiring to many people.
And yeah, and I think it's a great platform to bridge the gap in, the technical knowledge, because it's missing right now.
Yeah, and on that point, just to add, I'm not a digital native, but I have learned to become familiar with a lot of tools. But there are so many young professionals interested in renewables, and they are used to the digital tools. So we should help them in a way they want to be helped with digital tools. So therefore, we think that we could be the place to go for all people who like to work with digital tools, do business, and it's super efficient to connect globally via a platform.
Brilliant. And can you tell us, how can people sign up to your platform? How can buyers and developers, suppliers sign up to your platform?
Yeah, just shortly on that. So it's easy. If somebody is interested to buy something, he just fills out the contact form, and that goes directly to the vendor on the B2B marketplace. If there is a vendor who is interested to join the 100 vendors already on the platform, and we are growing every month by roughly 10 to 15%. So he simply can register as a vendor, and then we would contact that person and present in person the Hyfinder approach, because we don't want to be an anonymous platform. B2B is people business, and this is why we love to discuss with the people directly. And on the community side, it's even more easy. So there is, you can go to communityhyfinder.com, and there is a simple registration form where you can put in your email and then join and collaborate and discuss.
Brilliant. And where do you see Hyfinder in the next 5 years?
So Björn's already mentioned it, but I'd like to put it another way. If you want to know something about your family, you probably know who to call, and they'll tell you what there is to know. If you want something in the hydrogen economy, Hyfinder should be the place that you go, that you find out, you basically take your first steps, that you find what is there, and then you enter this digital world, which will help you then access the, let me say, the real world, which comes all around that. So we are working to digitize the supply chain for the hydrogen economy. We want the hydrogen economy to be one that's fully integrated with all these means, and we believe that's what's going to make it overtake some of the solutions. And therefore Hyfinder will offer many of the things which we have already talked about today, but also new ones which will help to bring those who need stuff together with those who make it to create solutions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Björn and Stephen, for joining me today and for telling us about this groundbreaking platform, Hyfinder. And we really wish you all success going forward, and looking forward to seeing you in Houston. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you to your team for a fantastic job.